Hi, I'm Margaret, and today we're going to use that lovely buttery puff pastry that we made last week. Just look at those lovely layers full of butter. So I'm just going to use half of it, so let's pop the rest back in the fridge for another time. This is going to be a savoury dish, so I'm using a little bit of cornmeal just to stop it sticking to the baking paper. You could just as easily use flour if you wanted to. For me, cornmeal adds a lovely texture and makes things that little bit golden. Now, as the pastry gets rolled, I find that the edges become quite tight, so I always like to chop a little bit off the end, just so we have a nice clean edge. The clean edges help the sides to puff up nicely in the oven. But don't throw those bits away. They can be popped onto a baking tray with a little bit of icing sugar on top, and they make a lovely sweet snack. The next job is to make it into strips, and these are about 1.5 centimetres in width. I'm using a pizza cutter for this, so I don't snag the pastry. Then on with some finely grated cheese. I'm using extra mature cheddar here to give a great flavour. The baking paper stops the rolling pin sticking to the cheese. With hindsight, I should have put the cheese on before I cut it up. Never mind, a couple of baking trays and we can switch it over nicely. There. Now we can do the same with the other side. There we go, plenty of cheese. And push it down gently with the rolling pin, just to make the cheese stick onto the pastry. Now the next step is to get this onto a baking tray and to twist each of the little strips. I find it easier to twist it in the middle first, and then to do each end in turn a couple of times. Now when it's baking, it does puff up and untwist a little bit, so don't be afraid to really squash those twists into place. And to make them really tasty, we'll use a little bit of salt and a bit of pepper to season. I've also found a few mixed seeds, which should be quite nice on top. I'll sprinkle them on and then squash a few down just to make sure they stick to the cheese. And there they are, beautiful and golden. Leave them to rest and they'll go beautifully crisp. Thanks so much for joining me this week. Take care and I'll catch you soon.